Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the emergency meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board on December 18th, 2020. Pursuant to the Minnesota Statute, Section 13D.021, in the current state of emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this emergency meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board will be conducted via electronic means. Consistent with the current state and federal pandemic guidelines, Superintendent Corey McIntyre and myself, Board Chair Mike Ostafi, have determined that due to the health pandemic and emergency declaration, a meeting format allowing for in-person attendance by board members is not practical or prudent for this meeting. It's also not feasible for members of the public to attend at the regular meeting location. Members of the public may monitor the meeting electronically by streaming online from the district website. An archived recording of this meeting will also be available on the district website. The emergency meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order at 7:32 a.m. on Friday, December 18th, 2020. Board members joining us by video conference, please respond when I call your name. Director Thomas Brooks.
Here.
Director Kelsey Dotson-Walton.
Here.
Director Heather Douglas.
Here.
Director Jackie Mosqueda-Jones.
Here.
Director Tanya Simons.
Here.
And I, Mike Ostafi, am present. Superintendent Corey McIntyre and General Counsel Tim Palmatier are also logged into this video conference. We have one item on this morning's agenda, which is the Osseo Area Schools Learning Model Update and Minnesota Department of Education revisions to State Learning Plan for 2021 school year. Superintendent McIntyre, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Ostafi, and good morning, board members. Thank you very much for meeting at this early hour. Throughout the course of this pandemic, we've consistently ensured that we were following the components of the Minnesota Safe Learning Plan in Osseo area schools. The board received an update this past Tuesday night on the recent data and information available to date related to our current learning model, and we discussed the possibility of a new update to that Minnesota Safe Learning Plan, which ended up coming the very next day on Wednesday from the governor and the Minnesota Department of Education and Minnesota Department of Health. This morning, I'm asking board members to approve my recommendation to continue to be in alignment with that new Minnesota State Learning Plan for a rolling start for elementary children to be in full-time person learning starting Tuesday, January 19th, with secondary students and Distance Learning Academy students remaining in distance learning until further notice. Students in early childhood through grade 2 would return to full in-person learning beginning January 19th, and students in grades 3 through 5 will return in full in-person learning beginning on Monday, February 1st. By deciding this morning, we are able to inform our families and our staff before winter break and maximize our preparation time to ensure student and staff safety with the new plan. So I'm going to just start a short presentation here. All right, and Chair Ostafi, can you confirm that that's up for me, please?
It is up.
Thank you. All right, our ISD 279 Safe Learning Plan levels is our version of the Minnesota Safe Learning Plan, and this graphic represents the recommendation of level 3 with elementary in-person learning and secondary distance learning. That would be a rolling start on January 19th. A little bit more about the Minnesota Safe Learning Plan update. Minnesota Department of Health reports now, information they shared this week, that over the last few months, their experience and knowledge that's been gained over the last few months has resulted in a new understanding of the epidemiology and the science with children ages 0 through 10, and that they're less susceptible than originally thought versus older students in our system or in schools. The result of this experience and knowledge, along with new resources available, has resulted in a change in that districts are no longer required to use county COVID case rate data for elementary decisions and no longer have a requirement for 6 feet of social distancing for elementary children. The new Minnesota Safe Learning Plan prioritizes elementary in-person learning. The impact of the pandemic and not being able to be in our in-person learning model has had a real tragic impact on so many of our students regarding their mental health, nutrition, social, and academic well-being. The new Safe Learning Plan is designed to start with a 2-week incubation period, January 4th to January 15th, where no in-person learning is permitted. The rolling start then happens in 2-week intervals to ensure new mitigation strategies are in place and that they are sustainable. Districts are allowed to start with 3 grade levels at a time starting January 18th. For many districts, that is a non-school day because of the Martin Luther King Day holiday. The Minnesota Safe Learning Plan requires a minimum of 2 days transition between models. Another key component of the new Minnesota Safe Learning Plan is the added layers of safety and mitigation strategies. So in addition to the daily screening process and other components of the school COVID safety plans, staff will now be required to wear face masks and face shields as it has been proven that together it significantly reduces any transmission. Also, every other week, COVID-19 testing will be made available to all school staff when there is in-person instruction. This is optional for staff to participate. Schools will be assigned a designated day to manage the capacity for the testing labs. The state will supply the schools with the training that schools need and the testing kits. And this screening will significantly increase the capacity for schools to identify any asymptomatic cases and also reduce any spread. These strategies, along with others in our COVID-19 school safety plans, will significantly reduce the risk to help support in-person learning. For our secondary schools, our middle schools, high schools, and others, grades 6 and higher, there is no change in the learning model as districts must continue to follow the parameters and thresholds and protocols in the original Minnesota Safe Learning Plan. Districts are required to continue using county data and those thresholds and are required to continue with consultation with MDE, MDH, and county public health through the regional support teams on learning model decisions at the secondary level. As we discussed before, with our district decision-making model, operational effectiveness is one of our key factors. With that, including staff absences and sub-coverage. This has been and may continue to be a challenge as we monitor it very closely. We did meet again with the Hennepin County Public Health yesterday, and we are continuing to see a downward trend in county cases, which is a great sign, and we continue to have cautious optimism with that current trend. The new Safe Learning Plan also requires meal times to occur in the classroom and requires specialists in classrooms as well, and this is a significant challenge. We expect additional clarification and guidance in the days to come, starting on Monday, as we continue to work through these elements of the Safe Learning Plan. Another area of work to be done with the decision being made is in the area of transportation and completing the updated routing needs to happen, and including assigned seating for students to assist with any contact tracing that may need to be done, along with ensuring face masks are worn at all times. Technology in the classroom is another area where we'll need additional time to make sure we have our classrooms ready to go. So over a break, with this decision, the technology team can begin to install the technology needed for full in-person instruction. Another area that requires time for planning is childcare, and making sure we have ample time for the application and approval process for preparation of sites for childcare services to be provided. Our experience has shown that new clarification and adjustments for implementation has often come through changes in guidance from MDE or MDH as districts, experience a change in a new Safe Learning Plan set of expectations. And I want to ensure our families and staff that things may change as we get additional guidance here moving forward. I also ask for the board to continue to show your understanding and support when I, as either superintendent or our administration, need to make changes based on any new guidance that subsequently may come. So in closing, even though you've heard me say many times before, it needs to be said again here. I'm going to stop presenting. Just want to kind of reiterate what I've said many times before here, is that I recognize the level of frustration so many are feeling as we are going through these model changes, and I wish our staff and our families and students didn't have to experience this level of uncertainty. For some, it adds stress. For others, it brings relief. depending on the model we move in and out of. And we've all heard from many who strongly either support this decision and many who strongly oppose it. Please know that I understand there are no easy answers. There is no way to please everyone in any learning model decision here. We continue to base our decisions in alignment with the Minnesota Safe Learning Plan. We know that children love being in school with their peers. We know staff prefer in-person interactions that support strong teacher-student relationships. We know our children learn better when they are in the physical classroom with their teacher. This has been clear as we've worked hard to get input from our families and our students and staff all the way back from last spring through the summer, now during the course of this school year with various surveys and the experiences our stakeholders have shared with us as we've moved in and out of the different models. This has given us that experience and knowledge that distance learning and hybrid simply are not ideal, and students and families are struggling, and that in-person learning will best meet the overall well-being of our students, including mental health, social needs, nutrition, and especially instructionally. We cannot eliminate risk, but we will successfully mitigate that with implementation of the layered strategies when done with fidelity can significantly reduce that risk in order for in-person learning to occur. Please know that the goal of this recommendation is to ensure that we provide our scholars with the best educational experience while doing it as safely as possible. With that, my recommendation is to be in alignment with the new Minnesota State Learning Plan from the Governor and State of Minnesota for a rolling start for elementary children to be in full-time in-person learning starting Tuesday, January 19th. Secondary students and Distance Learning Academy remaining in their distance learning models until further notice. Students in early childhood through grade 2 will return to full in-person beginning January 19th. Students in grades 3 through 5 would return in person Monday, February 1st. Cheryl Staffy, I'll turn it back to you to facilitate any comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Superintendent McIntyre. Board members, do we have a motion to approve the recommendation just provided to us by Superintendent McIntyre?
So moved.
Do we have a second of that motion?
Second.
Discussion. I will start with Director Douglas. Do you have a question or a comment? I believe that everybody has had a chance to speak with Corey about this over the last couple of days when the announcement came out to answer questions. Again, is there a question or a comment that you have?
I do not have a question. I just wanted to say that I support moving into the learning model recommended by Superintendent Corey.
Thank you. Director Brooks.
Superintendent McIntyre, the only question that I have that has not yet been answered is related to the testing of the kits every other week. Are you aware of any efforts to prioritize testing for educators, I guess at the lab, so that we can get those results faster?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Director Brooks. Yeah, this testing for our staff, we have posed that question to the Department of Health, and we believe we'll get clarification on that on Monday at the next commissioner call with the state. So the question we have is how quickly will those results be returned? And also just a point of clarification, because it's come up, staff are not quarantined during any testing window with this because it's a screening, it's a preventative effort. Clearly, if anyone was experiencing symptoms or anything else, they would then be, subject to quarantine. But this is a screening plan. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Brooks. Director Dawson-Walton.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I, think about our families, and I just want to thank all of our families because it's been a lot these last several months of kind of up and down and a lot of information that's continuously changing into our own staff. So I have a couple questions, just more clarification. Vaccinations, has that come up in any of your conversations in terms of prioritizing our teachers, ESPs, and staff that need to be in the building in order to go back in person full time?
We have not been given any information on vaccinations. We've asked about that, and it sounds like the state has maybe prioritized some counties for early vaccination efforts, but we have not been contacted by Hennepin County yet for that. So really, that has not been a part of this safe learning plan rollout.
Okay, and then so I've seen a lot of people even message me and kind of ask the question. I know that some of our staff are, there's a lot of questions that are still yet to be answered, and I know that you'll be, that's your priority to really address a lot of the concerns. But I would just ask it's more of a kind of common-ish question, but to ensure that people have asked about what can we do to support our teachers during this time, because I think everybody we want to make this as successful as possible moving forward. I mean, it's a bright light, but yet there's a lot of there can be some hesitation in it, and so I think any way that our families have an outlet to support our teachers, that would be a good thing to just keep having a conversation about. And right now I don't have anything else.
Thank you,
Mike, you're
Director
muted.
Nelson Walton. Director, yep. Director Mosqueda Jones.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank you for your presentation and for clearly outlining the new guidance and the new understanding of the science. I spent a good deal of time reading up for my own edification. And although we know that science is always learning, the current recommendations are such that kids under the age of 10 um, do not get and do not transmit as much. That's still real new. It could change. And if it does, and we hear about it, we'll definitely make different decisions, I'm sure. I want to make sure that um, our community knows that this is dependent on community support, and that in order for us to be completely successful, that our families and our teachers and our community all work together so that we can mitigate this virus. I it's been This has been a really hard year to make decisions, and every time I have to vote on this, it's it breaks my heart because I know somebody's going to be hurting. So, and I voted all ways on this. So, um, just know that every person on this board and Corey um, appreciate the sacrifices that people have had to make in order to keep us as safe as possible, and that we are going to address all outstanding questions throughout this rollout. Um, we've had a lot of questions on things like what happens if a family still feels uncomfortable coming in full time? What supports do teachers have? Um, how can we make sure that we have support for teachers during lunchtime if they're eating in their classrooms? All those questions we know are out there, and we will address all of those. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time asking those questions because I know they'll be addressed, and I appreciate the diligence of consulting with as many experts as possible to make the absolute best decision that we can. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Mosqueda Jones. Corey, I want to thank basically you, the entire administration team, and all the staff and all the building leaders that are going to have to work out the final details of this and do the operational implementation. Those are the details. That's going to be left up to you, and appreciate the hard work that the staff is going to do to make that happen.
Cheryl Staffy, I think we have Director Simons yet to speak.
Oh, yeah, I know. I forgot. But I see her up there waiting patiently. I just wanted to
Oh,
get my 2 cents in, and then we'll let her carry the day. So that was my comment. Thank you very much, Director Simons. You have the floor.
I have one question. So regarding the secondary model, so we have our three lens model. Does the new guidance restrict us now to more focused only on the county numbers? So while the elementary school decision model has shifted, did this like actually shift the secondary one too?
Thank you for that question. I'm glad you asked. It really does not change anything. So we still have to include the county data, but we will look at city, district, and building information as well moving forward. So really kind of following the same decision-making model we've had all along. Doesn't change those steps at this time.
Okay, great. That's helpful clarification. So my comments would be that throughout all of this, my decision making has continued to remain on what's best for our students and what's reflective, as Jackie mentioned, of our particular communities and what they desire, parents desire for their children, since that is who we serve, and that we must be able to do that operationally effectively, and that we must be really exceptional at maintaining the health parameters to ensure that we keep everybody who are supporting our students safe. So I'm very pleased to see that this is the direction of the state. I think that, again, we continue to implement the safety measures and will continue to implement those new safety measures to keep all staff and teachers safe. But I think this really recognizes incorporating the science and all of the interests of ensuring our students are at the center and that we deliver the educational services that that they require and that is best for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Simons. I don't see anybody unmuting. I think with the shake of the head, everyone's got their questions answered or final comments. So with that, Ms. Lincoln, will you please call roll call vote?
Director Douglas,
Aye.
Director Brooks,
Aye.
Director Mosqueda Jones,
Aye.
Director Simons,
Aye.
Director Dawson Walton,
Aye.
Director Ostafi.
Aye.
The motion passes 6-0.
Exceptional. Thank you. There being no other business, do we have a motion to adjourn at 7:54 a.m.?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Lincoln, can you please take a vote?
Director Ostafi,
Aye.
Director Dawson Walton,
Aye.
Director Mosqueda Jones,
Aye.
Director Douglas,
Aye.
Director Simons,
Aye.
Director Brooks.
Aye.
The motion to adjourn at 7:54 a.m. passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great break, great holiday. Merry Christmas. And I know your kids are thinking this is going to be a wonderful present. Take care.